can we do, Ruben? We're far away from everything.
Well, we are not that far from the restaurant where we had lunch, and I'm guessing we're not that far from anything.
All right, but then please don't take too long.
I need them to come and find us immediately. I can't. Alonso, please, I won't let you die, my love.
Oh, no, please don't touch me. No,
What
don't.
we have here? She's all alone.
No.
Take it easy. Since we've been treating you very nice.
No, please don't.
It's Thursday, the 9th of March, just a day after celebrations to mark International Women's Day. And I guess it's still in order to wish women in the country happy International Women's Day. Among the stories this morning are calls for digital inclusion for economic empowerment dominated International Women's Day, with the First Lady, that is Rachel Ruto, visiting the Langata Women's Prison for the celebration. This and more, including business and sports, will be coming up in the news this morning. Well, my colleague Victor Olo is in Kakamega County, where he will be engaging the Kakamega governor, that is Fernandez Baraza, on issues of development and all that in as far as the county is concerned. A very good morning to you, Victor, there in Kakamega.
Good morning, Marie, back in Nairobi. It's of course a very good morning here from the county 037, Kakamega County, where we have a population of around 1.6 million people as per the 2019 census. They have a new governor in office, that is FCPA Honorable Governor Fernandez Baraza, who's just taken up his office, being the first time that he's taking the reins of rule of this particular county. And therefore, the reason as to why we are here is just we want to interrogate him on matters development agenda for this particular county. What are some of the agenda that he has based on what he played during the political campaign rallies? Now is now down to work. What is he going to deliver for the people of Kakamega County? What are some of the hits and misses as well? He composed his cabinet just recently. What are some of the challenges that he faced during that process? And now, looking forward, what are we expecting as the people of Kakamega that they will be talking about moving in terms of development and what we should expect, they should expect from their governor. Now remember that he's also going to be talking about matters that is going to be pertaining national politics, because he is affiliated to the Azimio, and will also just be trying to look at his position in as far as working with the national government is concerned. Now, that will be coming to later on at around 7 a.m. Remember, you can also catch us live on our sister station, that is Ingo FM. You can catch that link for the for those people who are listening to the Ingo FM. You can catch that interview live on Ingo FM from 7 a.m. So we have got plenty to talk about, but that will be coming later on at around 7 a.m. Right about now, I take you back to Nairobi for our subsequent programming. Marie, good morning.
Thank you very much, Victor. Although they're in Kakamega County, up and early. And just as Victor has said, he will be engaging the Governor Fernandez Baraza, who will be talking about politics, development, and all that. So you want to stay tuned at around 7 o'clock to catch up on that particular discussion. And also remember, for those who are speakers of the Luya language, you can catch that discussion also on Ingo FM. So right about now, we want to start with our first story, where Kenya joined the rest of the world in marking International Women's Day with challenges such as violence against women and lack of resources for economic growth identified as issues that have continued to hold women back. Speaking during the commemoration of the International Women's Day at the Lang'ata Women's Prison in Nairobi, First Lady Rachel Ruto, however, urged women to be proactive and make use of available opportunities so that they can better take care of themselves and their families.
Songs and dance characterize the International Women's Day at Lang'ata Women's Prison in Nairobi. Women here serving their time, showcasing their talents.
She soars high like an eagle.
This poem by one inmate perhaps paints a true picture of how a woman is an important component of the family and society at large.
She works hard to challenge the hurdles of life, to make society a better place for inclusivity.
Let's appreciate Her Excellency.
It is here that the First Lady Rachel Ruto called on women to embrace entrepreneurship so as they can better take care of their families.
And while doing this, you have to persevere. There is a lot of perseverance, and you really have to, be patient, because it will not take you just a few months to do that kind of thing. And also, the benefit that we have seen, as we've said, is that there is providence. The money that you get from cross-stitching has been able to help you at least help your children.
She called on women serving their time in prison not to lose hope in life, saying good days are ahead of them.
We need to be resilient. Never look down, never give up, never cry inside that blanket thinking that life, will not add up to anything. I just want to promise you, I have met your sisters that did cross-stitch and they walked out of this gate one day. I want to say that someday you'll get out of this gate.
Just know that there's a reason that you're here and that you have a gift of resiliency, and so you must actually form an Australia within the confines that you are in.
She called on them to take the lessons learned in prison seriously so as they can transform their life and that of their family.
Let's pick the lessons that we are learning here, that the day the Lord enables us to leave these gates, we can be different people and we can transform our communities even as we go back to the communities. And I believe that that day is coming.
The First Lady, who visited breastfeeding mothers, lauded the International Federation for Women Lawyers for providing legal clinic at the Lang'ata Women's Prison, saying that will go a long way in ensuring a healthy life for both the mother and the child. Correctional Services Principal Secretary Mary Mudhoni, who accompanied the First Lady, called on the judiciary to fast-track the cases of mothers serving their terms to avoid a situation where their children are taken to children's homes.
These women most likely have left other children at home. So the money that they are going to earn from the Karakana is going to help those other children at home. We don't want to take them to children's home.
Women's Day was also celebrated across the counties, with various leaders taking stock of social, economic and political issues in as far as the Women's Day is concerned. Let's take a look at how that fared on in the counties.
It was a time to celebrate. And the celebrations were not lacking in songs and dance. Women putting their best foot forward to commemorate the day. a day set aside to focus on women's rights, achievements and challenges in the social, political, cultural and economic arena.
Siku ya leo tuna recognize, tunapongeza wamama wetu wakulima, wamama wa vijijini. Saa hizi wamama wanalipa fees. Saa hii wamama wanajenga manyumba. Saa hii wamama wanafanya maendeleo makubwa.
However, messages of reducing the gender imbalance in all spheres took center stage, with women terming the female gender a vital part in countries' development.
And that is why we are calling for the two-third gender rule. Two-third gender rule ambayo hata juzi tumekuwa na debate tukizungumzia vile tutaweza kuiweka katika katiba yetu.
Wakina mama especially wa jua kali ndio wana control economy ya Busia. And I salute the single mothers ambayo wanasumbukana kueducate watoto yao. Your Excellency, tungependa tupate loans ili tupate value addition.
Women also calling for concerted efforts to address societal social challenges that hinder the growth of women.
Hapa Kisii kuna teen mothers wengi sana, na hawa teen mothers wanakuja kwa sababu ya wakati wamekeketwa wanaambiwa sasa nyinyi mumekuwa wa mama. Kwa hivyo leo tunataka kuambia wamama wa feel wao ni wamama, wafurahie to take their space.
Kuna shida sana Mandera County kuhusu maji, sana maji, boreholes yote imekauka, mvua mtoni imekauka.
Majority of the people who are actually facing this acute malnutrition is lactating mothers, pregnant mothers and children. And the most affected in any setup is always the women. So we call upon all partners to come forth and support us.
Kwa sababu ile shida tuko nayo na ile shida ambao wamama hawa wanalia ni pombe. Kwa hivyo tumeongea na tunasema sisi tutarudi nyumbani na tutaanza kuongea na watoto wetu na tutawaombea, na tunaomba hata serikali yetu itusaidie kumaliza hii pombe.
A clear contrast of demands, however, came out as women in the conflict-prone areas called for peace if any gains in gender equality are to be achieved.
Inahitajika serikali pia nao wahusishe wamama. Kwa sababu wewe mama unajua watoto wako wangapi uko nayo kwa nyumbani, watoto yako wangapi wenye wako msituni. So hata hiyo inahusishwa wa mama, hata waongee, sauti yao iende.
In line with this year's theme on innovation and technology for gender equality, women have however been challenged to embrace the use of modern technology as a means of ease in doing business. A 2020 report by Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicates that while there have been efforts to produce quality and relevant gender statistics in response to the growing demand, the country still faces various resource constraints and weak coordination of the national statistical system.
Thank you, Kamcha Menza, for that report. Now, as the world celebrates the social, economic and cultural political achievements of women, this year's theme is Digit All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, with an emphasis on the important role that technology and innovation plays in advancing gender equality. To mark the day, women in Kibra were sensitized on how to use social media and new digital tools to highlight inequality and create awareness among the younger generation. Trevor Ngendo with that report.
At Rowaland Scouts Camp in Kibra, Nairobi, women from diverse cultures and backgrounds gathered to mark a special day for them. The event, organized by a Swedish organization, Forum Siv, brought together women from the community, among them those in tech, politics, and those living with disabilities.
We've also brought on board for the first time women from marginalized communities with the Maasai community in Nakuru, in Narok, and they are also participating in this process to also ensure that we leave no one behind by bringing as many women as possible.
In a panel discussion, the women acknowledged the various gains the country had made in gender equality and equity, with more women being encouraged to use social media to promote women's education, healthcare, and to take a stance to call out inequity while working to forge positive action.
It has two perspectives. One is, of course, positive because a lot of people can engage in politics, people can communicate with one another. But the problem is that this media has also been used against women, especially women who are involved in politics.
We are creating a wider network platform of advocating for women participation in decision-making processes, and particularly areas that where they are marginalized from participating in meaningful economic gains.
With this year's theme being Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, the women warned that inasmuch as technology and innovation have immense potential to empower and promote gender equality worldwide, there was a need for women to protect the young generation against bullying and radicalization.
Women could have their own social media, but that really makes sense because sometimes it's women who bully women in these spaces. So just be kind, go back and think to yourself, if this was your daughter, your sister that is being bullied like this, then what would you do?
Uangalie venye watoto wako wanafanya ndani ya nyumba. Hawana kwa hii laini na kuwaambia hii laini ni nzuri. Kenya wanataka kushogora hiyo TV kuona ni mambo mbaya. Ni yala hawapendezi. Na tukipotesha hii watu wanasema ni nini? Ni kupotesha jamii. Ni kupotesha maisha ya kesho.
Men were also called on to embrace and support women for the sake of a better society.
Because without supporting women, then the cause of ensuring a just and sustainable world is not going to be achieved. Let's all embrace equity and ensure that we support all women in all spheres of life.
Never give up, but be kind to yourself. Realize that you can't change the world in one day, but it will happen soon enough if you work for it.
Women around the world continue to face inequality and discrimination in many areas, including healthcare, sanitation, safety, and representation in leadership positions. And it's thus crucial that for us as men, continue to push for meaningful change and work towards ensuring that we create an opportunity for them to thrive and reach their full potentials. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Nairobi CBD, I'm Trevor Ngendo, wishing all the women a happy Women's Day, or should I say evening.
Thank you, Trevor Ngendo there. Now, as the world marked the International Women's Day, we turn our focus on women in the media. The women who spend hours working in front of the camera and behind the scenes to gather and package content that keeps you informed, educated, and entertained. Our reporter Tess Mutai spent the day with a section of female journalists here at KBC to get an understanding on how the industry has evolved to accommodate more women. Here's Tess with that story.
Broadcasting Corporation, today being International Women's Day, we will be interacting with different women, highlighting their stories of how they've traversed the media industry. The media industry has undergone a transformation over the decades in the methods of news gathering, packaging, and dissemination of information. From the analog era to the digital age, it is this transformation that we sought to understand and its impacts on opening up opportunities for women in the profession. We talked to women who had the opportunity to work during the analog era.
We faced all the challenges in media because I think men could not embrace the idea that women could work as well as men in the media industry.
It was a lot of work because you had to carry so many tapes to take for transmission, okay? But now everything has been digitized, everything is on soft copy.
I came, I was a lady, there was no other lady, I'm the pioneer. And they even, all the bosses were men, all the workers were men, and even they had some problem with me, they didn't know where to place me.
Previously, women were not many. When I look at it generally, the technical field, we had fewer women.
They say the media industry has evolved and provided a platform for women to voice issues affecting them.
only for my bosses to realize later that I'm doing what the men are doing. They couldn't believe it. Then I was told to do what I can do, where I want to be.
Because they used to say that women, we fear innovation. But today I'm happy when I see young girls, even in colleges, embracing technology.
The generation of today is not like our generation. Our generation, you have to go through all the processes. Today, it's not like that. As long as you can get work done through a shorter process.
Their stories differing from those who began their journalism career during the digital era.
In comparison to our male counterparts, usually you have to show that you know what you're doing. People at a glance do not think that you know what you're doing, especially in business reporting. So you have to be very bold, you have to be very assertive.
In acknowledging the progress, they said it is not time to celebrate just yet. A lot more needs to be done to level the playing field.
I appreciate every step that women have done. At least, given a chance, they have proved us men wrong, that they are better than us. So on this day, we celebrate them. We need to give them more energy and more space to prove us wrong.
And the best thing that we can do as men is to ensure that we create an environment whereby women will continue to rise. Because as we say, if you lift a woman, you lift a society.
KBC Acting Editor-in-Chief Millicent Awar says rising through the ranks is an uphill task for most women, but it is a challenge that is slowly being overcome, urging women to present themselves for leadership and embrace the responsibilities that come with the job.
Some employers will prefer the male gender because they know that a woman has to go the family way. She comes in, maybe they look at it as a baggage, but this is the beautiful part of a woman. So don't fear going through these challenges.
Her advice for women is to remain resilient and occupy their space through hard work.
Tess Mutai there. Those are our women in power. Now, white-collar jobs have always been associated as a measure of success in life, in society. For Grace Ngugi, who is a fashion designer turned entrepreneur and runs a cosmetic manufacturing firm, her story is quite the opposite. As the world celebrated the International Women's Day, our reporter Opicho Chumtai interacted with the entrepreneur and brings us the story of a woman who rose from grass to grace in a male-dominated industry.
We caught up with Grace Ngugi, an entrepreneur who runs a cosmetic manufacturing firm located in Athi River on the outskirts of Nairobi City. He narrates to us how her entrepreneurial journey started.
Now it's 2 years. This month, the 15th, will be 2 years exactly when my dear one left us. We started this together. And this is something I can encourage ladies or women. If you have a business, a family business, try and understand what you do. Even if it's him, be nosy and find out what is he doing.
She takes us through the cosmetic plant.
From the lab, where we have the composition of all these chemicals that are put in together, we would call it a recipe. Yes. Then we go to the stores where the quality assurance person from the lab writes a list of all the products that she requires, from the power to the boiler. So when the process is done for the water and the oil, they are mixed together in another big vessel called a homologizer. The holding vessel now goes through to the filling. So it's filled according to the mLs, to the quantities that is required.
And what were the challenges?
When we brought our machines, engineers came and rejected one machine. I would call it the boiler. We brought in a small boiler. He says, with the kind of plant we have here, we cannot use a small boiler. Shock on us. We didn't have that money to buy a bigger one, and we've exhausted our finances.
Despite going through the challenges, as a woman in an industry perceived to be male-dominated, she tells us where her motivation comes from.
So the shoes are big, they are quite big, but you have to fit in them. And interest.
Through her work, she has employed a number of people.
I can say it has shaped me in so many ways. At least I can lead
a group. The production group, sometimes it's tough.
She's also giving back to the community.
At the moment, I'm trying to partner with prisons of Kenya to see how we can embrace, like I said, it starts with you.
Happy International Women's Day from Alhabit Cosmetics East Africa Limited. #GenderEquality.
What else can I say? Indeed, it is an inspiration story of a woman who has been through it all, seen it all, and decided to soldier on. To all the women out there, start small, keep pushing, and never stop.
Now, away from the celebrations that were marked in as far as the International Women's Day is concerned, we now go to issues of Parliament, where the Senate is set to audit all contracts between independent power producers and the government. The chair of the Energy Committee in the Senate, that is Wahome Wamatinga, says the current huge cost of power was as a result of suspect contracts. Wamatinga made the remarks during a meeting with Electricity Consumer Society of Kenya. The society wants the government to explore the use of geothermal energy to reduce costs.
The Senate Energy Committee engaged the Electricity Consumer Society of Kenya on modalities the government ought to adopt to lower the cost of energy. The consumers lamenting high taxation on electricity that was making environment for the manufacturing sector unfavorable. The Consumer Society calling for maximum exploitation of geothermal energy instead of introducing more independent power producers.
If you are going to tax the products that have been manufactured using electricity, why should you tax electricity first? Maybe we can decide to say, if you are a manufacturer, maybe we can exempt you VAT because we know you are going to pay VAT on the product. We have a lot of capacity for geothermal, which is supposed to be 10,000 megawatts. We have only exploited 900. Why are we quick into bringing nuclear here?
The committee chairperson Wahome Wamatinga indicated the committee will be probing all contracts awarded to independent power producers, saying some were skewed.
We've resolved to have an inquiry of the IPPs, interrogating how they came into being, what the dates they were given, and for how long the contracts were signed. We also feel like the country has been taken hostage by a few IPPs. We know the issue of accountability, the issue of transparency has also come into play. We are also alive to the fact that the last regime did a lot to mismanage the energy sector by making a lot of roadside declarations without looking at the strategic consequences of the decisions they made.
The committee also committed to engage the executive to reduce taxes charged on electricity.
That is Kevin Washira reporting right there, and that report brings us to the end of the bulletin this morning. Thank you so very much for taking the time to start today with us here on Good Morning Kenya. Still a lot lined up for you. It's Entertainment Thursday, but before that we have Victor Law, who is in Kakamega County, where he will be engaging the governor, that is Fernandes Barasa, on issues, development and politics. So you want to stay tuned. We promised you at 7 o'clock, and we are just about 1 minute past 7 o'clock. So I'll take a break at this moment. A lot lined up for you during the day in as far as the news is concerned during our 1 p.m. bulletin. So until next time, God willing, I'm Marie Yambo.
How dare you stare at this picture every day? Aren't you scared Harvey might see it?
And I'm the one that he really likes.
He will not forgive you.
He has to.
Be brave once again. And go tell him the truth.
You again? What in the world did you do? What is wrong with you? Why come here? Just to cause trouble and make a big mess? Let me see you again. Never come back to Immortal.
Where's Jenny?
We'll no longer be in the magazine now.
Kwenye mkulima, tutaangazia kilimo mjini.
Tunatumia drip irrigation ambayo ni mbinu ambayo inasaidia kupunguza matumizi mengi ya maji. Mbinu nyingine tunatumia ni vertical farming. Hii mbinu ya ukulima tunajaribu kuongeza idadi ya mimea on the vertical space.
Kisha tukuze tunda la strawberry.
Vijana waache kuona ni kama ukulima ni ushamba. Ukulima ni kitu inaweza fanywa, bora mtu akuwe amakinike na kitu ambacho anataka kufanya na asomee ama aweze kufanya utafiti wake vizuri.
Ungana nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa uondo kamili wa kilimo.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, this is the extended version of Good Morning Kenya. We are coming to you live from Kakamega County, county number 037, with a population of around 1.6 million people as per the 2019 census. They went to the ballot last year. They picked and they voted for their next governor who is going to steer them for the next 5 years. What are some of the development agenda? What's in store for the residents of Kakamega County, and what should they expect from their governor? And on that note, I'm joined on set by the governor of Kakamega County, His Excellency Honorable FCPA Fernandez Baraza. Welcome to our studio, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to give you a minute. You said we start with the salamu first of all.
Greetings. Very good. Yeah, I want to welcome you to Kakamega. The green jewel. We are known as the green jewel because of forest conservation.
Yes.
This is the second largest county in Kenya, and of course the most populated and the largest rural county. So we just want to welcome you and all the viewers to know what we have done so far for the last almost 6 months.
Absolutely.
So karibuni sana.
How is it private sector in our administration? How has it been like?
I can say that the transition has been very smooth, because even in public sector,
yes,
where I served for almost 12 years, there was a lot of politics, although low voltage politics. But because of my institutional knowledge and public sector knowledge, I've not had a difficult time in transitioning from the corporate world to now politics. Because particularly my life, I've been making decisions which border on political environment.
Yeah.
For example, as a CEO of Ketraco, I was actually making political decisions, although development oriented. So it has not been very difficult for me to settle down.
The administrative weighing of it and the structures of governance from the other side where you are and in public sector, it's more or less the same.
Absolutely.
Already. Real fact, Governor, during your political campaigns and when you are campaigning and having the your agenda for the people of Kakamega County, what were some of the key points that you highlighted during that particular point?
Now, I have 6 main pillars. One of them being health. Of course, we are very keen on provision of health services, not just focusing on the infrastructure. Issues around water is very crucial. I have a slogan of Amazo Mliango, that is water at the doorstep, which we are progressively doing it through my company called Kakawasco. Issues around good governance in terms of just making sure that we have the structures in place, because a county without proper structures definitely cannot achieve more. I've also focused a lot on the social development,
yes,
where we are looking at nurturing talent. We are very strong in music, in football, and the like. And that's an area where, of course, we want to engage the youth for purposes of just seeing what else they can do. On wealth creation, it's a crucial agenda for me, because people want to have money in the pocket. So my responsibility has been to look at how we can identify more investors to come into Kakamega, so that we can create employment opportunities for our people. So those are some of the key areas of focus. Then, of course, in education, we still want to improve on the infrastructure for ECD and also our county polytechnics.
Where we should now. Again, you had your predecessor, Governor Paranya. He did tremendously well. Do you think you're under pressure to fit in his shoes?
What I can tell you is I'm not under pressure, and I don't have to fit in these shoes. I have come with my own shoes and my own agenda, which I'm focused to deliver. The good thing is I'll build on the foundation that he has is laid for the last 10 years, and more specifically on the structures which he put in place. And for me, the reason why I've settled very fast is because I'm not trying to fit into Paranya's shoes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. You've mentioned your key pillars on what you want to achieve for the people of Kakamega. Let's start with agriculture. In the last couple of days, you've been traversing all the sub-counties in your county, doing the distribution of the subsidized fertilizer and the farm inputs. Tell me more about that.
One of my key pillars on food security is to make sure that our farmers have food. At the end of the day, when you lead a hungry population, you cannot achieve much. We procured 240,000 bags of fertilizer. That is 120,000 bags for planting, and 120,000 bags for top dressing. Now, this fertilizer was procured at a cost of 700 plus maize seeds, by the way.
Yes.
Because you can't have fertilizer without the seeds. So we've procured the fertilizer and maize at a cost of 713 million Kenya shillings. Now, and the subsidy comes in on the pricing per unit. For example, the 50 kg bag for planting, we are now selling it at 2,970 shillings, compared to 3,500 for the national government.
Yes.
Top dressing, which of course we will start supplying from next week. We are selling at 2,330. Again, very subsidized because on the market, it goes to over 5,000 shillings. And then the maize seeds, we are selling it at a subsidized price of 300 shillings. Now, when I look at the response from farmers, and just besides the fertilizer, because what we are telling people is we want to have food security. We've given them fertilizer. We've given them maize seeds. We're also now adding fish.
Yes.
Where we've given out almost 755,000 fingerlings of fish, so that at least we now have, when you have maize and fish, then you're okay. And that is our program, which I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. And the response has been quite overwhelming. We are also going further into just making sure that our fish farming, but then we are among the top 5, if not top 3, counties which are very strong in aquaculture.
Yes.
We have a fish hatchery in Kakamega, and we're also supplying a lot of fingerlings within the region. So on fish, we are good. We also have tissue culture bananas, which of course are being produced at one of our centers and distributed to farmers, where we have done almost 15,000 of them.
Yes.
So my agenda on agriculture is very crucial.
And food security.
And food security for that matter. At the end of the day, of course, we'll also go into value addition.
Yeah.
So that after the maize has been produced, we are looking at setting up a factory in the Likuyani and Lugari, basically now for maize milling, that's for value addition.
Yeah.
And this, I'm sure it will go a long way in addressing some of the challenges we have on employment. Of course, food security, once we have already gone to the fertilizer, it will be clear. And for us, we are very focused and have allocated a lot of money in agriculture because that is the mainstay of our county. In fact, when you look at our GDP for Kakamega County, almost 52% comes from agriculture.
From agriculture.
Yes.
You know, I believe during your campaign period, that was part of your big agenda. But a majority of, Kakamega residents are subsistence farmers. How is it going to be sustainable?
Now, first and foremost, we're looking at the yield.
Yes.
I've challenged all my agricultural extension officers so that we now focus on the yield.
Yes.
Even if you have 1 or 2 acres and you have done soil analysis through now the extension officers and you work on the yield, you will find that whatever now you produce, like 1 acre, we're looking at not having less than 15 bags of maize. So when you focus on the yield, through the help of our extension officers, even that subsistence farmer may have food for the whole year.
Yeah.
The challenge has been we don't focus on the output and the yield, such that after harvesting, somebody will only get 3 or 4 bags. 3 or 4 bags, and an average family in Kakamega is almost maybe 5 or 6, cannot sustain you for a whole year. But when you focus on the yield, we are talking about harvesting not less than, let's say, 15 bags of maize. That I think is sustainable enough. Yeah.
And that must be very close to your heart, even from your committee members and even your administration. When you talk about agriculture, it's one of the key pillars, again, from the national government. Do you get help from the national government?
We actually have a bigger conversation because when you look at Schedule 4 of the Constitution with regard to the devolved functions, agriculture is one of them. And what we are pushing now, the national government, is to make sure that they devolve all the functions of agriculture. And one of the key functions is about fertilizer. National government has no point of importing fertilizer, and yet that is a devolved function. So we've had a conversation with the executive, starting from the president himself, Dr. William Ruto, during our last summit meeting with the governors, where we are discussing the budget policy statements for the next financial year. And one of our key observations is, why do you still have allocations in agriculture, and yet 90% of those functions are devolved? So, so far we've kind of reached a compromise, and I can see the national government progressively trying to devolve some of those activities, especially like crop production, issues around fertilizer subsidy. If you want to achieve the so-called bottom-up transformation agenda, the bottom of the pyramid is the counties. And if the national government appreciates that, which I can see the president is also aligned to it, then you can now achieve the national objectives.
Yeah.
So the focus now on agriculture should be empowering counties, allocating resources to follow functions. After you do that, then the bigger picture of economic growth will now be achieved because counties are well resourced on matters of agriculture.
Agriculture later on, but before we ship out of that, many cane farmers are now running away from, their mainstay in terms of agriculture. What are you going to do about that? Because now they feel that now they now need to move from sugarcane farming into other sources of farming. Are you addressing that?
First and foremost, of course, they have a reason to think about other crops, especially arising from the collapse of Mumias Sugar Company. As we speak right now, we are looking at diversification in as much as we still support sugarcane farming because it's one of the major cash crops. And I'm happy that at least we have an investor right now, Sarai Group from Uganda, who has put in some money in the revival of Mumias Sugar Company. So far, they are operating, I can say, below at 20% because we don't have raw materials. So my responsibility as the governor is to encourage farmers to plant sugarcane so that we can sustain the operation of Mumias Sugar. But besides sugarcane, we're also now trying to diversify. We've had a very good conversation with the Minister for Trade and Industrialization, Moses Kuria, and the President, just to make sure that now we have special economic zones which will focus on agribusiness. And once you have those aggregation centers, like what is happening at Twiga Foods, I can assure you, people will not be crying about sugarcane. We'll now focus on avocado, for example, edible oils, things like rice farming, so that we have a diversification of crops. And that will be achieved through those aggregation centers in our industrial parks.
Are you thinking of diversification, number one, and even having now the value addition? You had your, as the governors, your benchmarking at Twiga Foods some 2-3 weeks ago.
Yes.
What did you learn from that you'd want to transfer to Kakamega County?
Now, what we learned from that is this issue of industrialization must start from the micro, small, and medium enterprises. It's not a big thing per se. Once you focus on agribusiness, and then you have aggregation centers in an industrial park, for example. As Kakamega County, we have already procured land in Mumias. We want to have 3 aggregation centers or industrial parks. One in Mumias, another in Shinyalu, another one in Malava. Now with those industrial parks, I can assure you, once we focus on aggregation, which is one of the things which Twiga Foods is doing, we shall have food security here. We are going to create employment opportunities. Because we'll bring investors. And then the most important thing is value addition. For example, if it's milk processing, after we have gotten milk, you can now go into yogurt production, for example. That is value addition in agriculture. If it is maize farming, you now go into maize milling. That is value addition. So there's a lot that we learned from Twiga Foods and Kirdi. And we've actually been challenged as counties to have specific allocations into promoting industrial parks. The national government has allocated 100 million per county as a conditional grant again. And then for us in Kakamega County, the next financial year, we have committed 200 million so that this agribusiness and investment in industrial parks is realized. So it's a big conversation, and I could see a lot of opportunities being created, especially for employment, which is a big headache, through the agriculture, through the industrial parks and agribusiness.
Sugar, a bit later on. Let's talk about the issue of health. It's one of the devolved, functions to the counties. And it must be so close to your heart. The reason why I'm asking about this is I'd really want to get your point on the issue of there was a proposed construction of one of the biggest referral hospitals in Kakamega County. What is the status as we speak, Governor?
Now, this is our level 6 hospital. It's actually the biggest in the country because it's 750 bed capacity facility being implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1 will be 450 bed capacity,
right?
Which, as we speak at the moment, I can say is 90% done, especially the physical infrastructure. My predecessor had actually initiated a process of transferring that facility to national government. And in my view, I don't think whether that is a way forward, because you just be adding problems to national government when we know very well that we have a challenge. We have competing initiatives on the resource envelope. So the way to go, which as we speak right now, we have agreed with the president, is now inviting private participation for leasing of equipment. Because through a PPP framework, we are going to at least operationalize phase 1 in the next 12 months. What you only need to do is, which I'm trying to get, is get some allocation to finish some of those pending works, which will require more like 600 million. Once you do that, then we bring on board a private investor who will equip the hospital, who will also operationalize. Exactly.
Okay.
So it will be a kind of BOT, the bill operate and transfer framework. And for me, in the medical world, that is the best approach, because you cannot really invest 6 billion shillings to buy equipment. So the leasing framework is the way to go. That's a conversation where we are now having with the national government. I know what the president is trying to look at is having a framework where any level 6 hospital that has been constructed, we go the leasing way for equipment. And for me, once we do that, I can assure you, Kakamega will be a different account, because that will become our second biggest industry after Masinde Muliro University.
Take too long for it to be completed?
Largely because the construction was dependent on exchequer.
Right.
And the challenges with exchequer release. The timeliness has been a problem. The release of money is not predictable. And when you combine all those, you'll find the delay, of course, will be occasioned. And that's why I cannot make that mistake again, to start committing exchequer money for completion, because it will deprive other sectors of cash flow. And the option of now having a PPP framework becomes viable.
Okay, because it's going to be one of the biggest referral hospitals, level 6. That's quite big. And a majority of Kenyans coming all the way from Kisumu, Homa Bay County, Kisii County, pass just right in front of your county office going to MTRH in Eldoret. What is the timeline? What's going to be your turnaround so that we have this hospital completed and fully operational?
Now I'm looking at 12 months.
Okay.
Because from now.
Okay.
Because of completing the outstanding works, and now focusing on which is a viable option, because there are very many fellows who have expressed interest. PPP, you can either use a PIP, that is privately initiated partnership through unsolicited bids, or you can advertise through a consortium. And so once we settle on a viable option, of getting a partner.
Yes.
Who will come to now do the equipping. You can be sure in the next 12 months they're going to be very active, because I know the more we delay, it will also be very expensive, because some of the equipment may be vandalized. And then, of course, focusing on just completing the outstanding civil works, which is our priority. So in the next 12 months, I'm confident that we'll be talking about something different.
Okay. You're talking about level 6. What about the primary healthcare? I mean, you have got so many sub-counties here. So what are you doing on the primary, county level, sub-county levels?
Yeah. Now, as you realize, 95% of the health is actually devolved.
Yes.
And that is a conversation, especially with regard to funding the primary health care. We have told the national government, without any fear of contradiction, that we should not be having funds to address the primary health care being budgeted at the national level. As you speak right now, we have so many dispensaries which we established, but they don't have drugs. Some of them are 20 or 30% done. So we want at least to complete all those projects which have been initiated, and then to make sure that in every sub-county, I have 13 of them in Kakamega, we have a proper level 4 hospital.
Yes.
Which is well equipped.
What is their state as you speak?
As we speak, they are level 4, but the operations are not level 4 because you don't have adequate equipment in those level 4s. So they'll end up now addressing the primary healthcare issues, which going forward we are going to address by equipping those hospitals so that they just remain as referral hospitals. But the primary healthcare is now done in dispensaries and health centers. But the most important thing, which I did in my first 100 days, is to make sure that we have a stock take of drugs and non-farms in the hospitals, which after doing that, we have actually distributed drugs and non-farms to hospitals, costing almost 130 million Kenya shillings. And we are progressively also looking at how we can support our community health volunteers, the so-called CHVs. Those are our primary doctors on the ground. They're doing a lot of work. We are bringing upon a policy, a community health volunteers policy, which of course will give rise to a bill that will now address the welfare of these people. We want to put them on NHIF. We'll of course improve on their stipend so that the primary health care, once it's addressed, then of course we'll also reduce now on the reactive side. When we had COVID, this issue of just maintaining personal hygiene worked miracles, because some of the inherent diseases were being managed because we have addressed preventive mechanisms through the primary health care. So that's our focus.
Talk about the issue of Mumias, of course, delve more into that. Let's talk about the issue of congestion in Kakamega town. How are you going to expand the town? I mean, how are you going to give that town a facelift so that at the end of the day, it's the headquarters of Kakamega County? What is your legacy at the end of the 5 years? Let's take a break and we come back. We're still having that discussion. Ona Fernandez Baraza of Kakamega County. Kakamega, after this, we are going to take, I'll tell you what you're going to take after this break. Stay with us.
after the dust settled on rigorous campaigns.
Operationalizing Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
The percentage of A's in 2021 were more than those ones in 2022.
We will not politicize security, because if we do so, we endanger the country.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
Father, you took a holy oath.
But I have doubts sometimes. Right now, when I see you, what I feel is...
Stop right there!
Olegario, to whom did you send flowers to? Don't tell me you sent flowers to that other woman you had dinner with. Olegario, answer me. Did you send flowers to Martha Moreno?
Well, what can we do, Ruben? We're far away from everything.
Well, we are not that far from the restaurant where we had lunch, and I'm guessing we're not that far from anything.
All right, but then... Please don't take too long.
I need them to come and find us immediately. I can't. Alonso, please, I won't let you die, my love.
Oh, no, please don't touch me. No, don't.
We have here. She's all alone.
No.
Take it easy. Isn't really treating you very nice.
No, please don't.
And welcome back. You are now catching us live on KBC Channel 1. This is Good Morning Kenya, coming to you from County 037, Kakamega County. The sun is already out. It's getting warmer. It was chilly when we started the show. But nonetheless, we have to continue. But right about now, let's take some of the questions that we asked the residents of Kakamega County. And these are some of the questions to their governor. Let's take a listen.
The mood in Stockholm, however, is one of pessimism. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg told defense ministers he expected Russia to throw more troops into battle. While he couldn't rule out Russia's ultimately falling there, Stoltenberg said this won't necessarily mean a turning point in the war.
Next, German officials have warned against hasty
We'll get to listen to the Vox Pop and the questions that were asked by the residents of Kakamega County. We'll get to that shortly. But Governor, let's talk about the issue of your plan to expand Kakamega town. The issue of decongesting the city, the town itself. What are you doing about it as a governor?
First and foremost, we want to bring order in town. And we are constructing some markets. There's one of the markets called Shijere Market, which of course will, once it's done, we expect to move most of the traders out of town so that they go now to these modern markets for purposes of decongesting the town.
Yes.
We also are progressively looking at just removing those informal structures within the CBD. And for me, that will bring order. Of course, we are rerouting some of the heavy trucks that traverse the town, especially the tractors carrying sugarcane. We want to reroute them so that they can have alternative routes, not traversing town and causing congestion. I know we've received some bit of resistance because people want shortcuts.
Yes.
But because of our commitments, to have the town maintained to be neat. And by the way, we want to make Kakamega the next city after 10 years. So for us to achieve the city status, then we cannot relent in our bid to make sure that there's some order in town. We don't have those mushrooming shrubs within the CBD. And with those specific programs, even by improving the sewerage system, which is a program we are doing through the Kenya Urban program, support program, funded by the World Bank. I'm sure the town will look different. We shall decongest it and then confidently to make Kakamega the next city.
When you talk about decongesting and the transport sector, you just airstrip started to operationalize just the other day. How has it changed the entire transport system and even the face of your county?
Actually, the operation of the airstrip was timely because the launch was done in December. And it has sustainably been consistent, where we get at least Skywoods Express flying in and out once a day. And we're also encouraging now other airlines to start flying that route.
What is the frequency?
They do one trip in the morning and one in the afternoon. But the runway is now big enough, almost 2.4 kilometers, where we can also even have a jumbo jet landing there. I had a conversation with the KAA so that they can actually approve more airlines using that facility. But the bigger approach is, which we were tasked by the president, is to have an expansion program. We are now having a conversation with the neighboring landowners to acquire almost 100 acres of land so that we have now a proper airport there. That is a commitment which we also provided, and we are hoping that in the next financial year, with conversation with the Kenya Airports Authority, we'll now provide the 100 acres. Of course, compensation will be done by KAA. Ours is to facilitate that negotiation process. And then the airstrip will be expanded because in 2027, remember Kenya is bidding to host African Cup of Nations. We want Buhungu Stadium, by the way, to be one of the venues. For hosting for hosting African Cup of Nations. And that can only make sense if we have an airport, not an airstrip. And that's why there's a lot of motivation in just making sure that the program of expanding the airport by providing alternative land to the landowners is actually accomplished within the next 12 months.
For a long time, but are you seeing a situation you are going to give competition to Kisumu County, the airport itself?
One thing that I can tell you is, of course, every county has its own unique ecosystem. When you look at our unique ecosystem and habitat in Kakamega, the Kakamega forest is very unique. We have the Crying Stone. We have quite a number of waterfalls. And for me, and then of course, the traditional is good and stuff like that. So culture is quite something. So once we get this airport up and running, we improve on our infrastructure. Buhungu, as we speak right now, has the best pitches in the country, by the way. You know, that pitch of Buhungu is better than Nyayo Stadium by 5 in Kasarani. So we'll provide an alternative investment opportunity as an investment hub in the western region. We may not surpass Kisumu, by the way, because they became a city long time, and then of course there are so many opportunities of investment. But Kakamega is the next big thing. Looking at the potential that we have, looking at the diversity that we have, because we believe our diversity is our strength in Kakamega. We are going to be the next investment frontier.
Okay. Mumias. And, as I promised, we need to delve deeper into this so that once and for all, even the farmers, even the national government, even the investors can get the real gist of what's happening. What is the state of Mumias sugar in black and white as we speak?
Now, where is it, I can tell you, is we need a lot more investment into the factory. And the national government needs to come in because they still have shareholding, almost 20%, and consider waiving the debts or having an arrangement with those suppliers and the DFIs that are owed money, almost 10 to 12 billion Kenya shillings. Once that is done, then the investor will now focus on crop development. Because you cannot start grappling with investing the little money that you have and the capital injection we've brought in 5 billion shillings, and yet the hole is bigger. So my honest opinion on Mumias sugar is a bailout from the national government.
Going to
12 billion shillings. If that is done, even if it is staggered, you can see the commitment in the way the government has been bailing out Kenya Airways. Because the government cannot allow Kenya Airways to collapse. That's the face of Kenya on matters tourism, etc., and of course transport. If we get that commitment of national government bailing Mumias sugar, of the historical obligations, then it will make sense for the investor to now focus on modernizing the facility, of course the factory, and now investing more in crop development. That I can tell you, if that is done, then it will be the best solution. At the moment, I can say just scratching the surface.
It's scratching the surface, but the government might not be so keen on bailing out Mumias sugar because for a very long time it's been used for a political tool. Can this change?
I think that is at the doorstep of the president. In fact, when we had a meeting with him when he came around in December as the leaders of the Western region, that was one of the key agenda items. I know the first year may be difficult because when we've just come from a transitional government, priorities will change. Even the disbursement that we are getting from national government, they are largely affected because of the transitional issues. So maybe progressively, it may not happen in the next financial year, but we'll keep the conversation alive so that we have a pragmatic approach from the national government on bailing out the historical obligations pursuant of the shareholding that it has, which is a very big stake of 20%. That for me will be the best and most practical solution on MSC.
So first of all, then the rest of the procedures will follow.
Absolutely.
And then now, what do you tell the farmers? Because for a very long time, farmers now had to opt for, transposing their cane either from Mumias to other factories. What will you tell them? So that at the end of the day, they need to have hope.
What I can tell them practically is that we have very good fortunes around the revival of Mumias sugar. I am actually a cane farmer. I planted a lot of cane. I've planted a lot of cane. I've delivered my cane to Mumias sugar for the last, actually in December.
Have you been paid for that delivery?
I was paid after 1 week.
Okay.
So my encouragement to farmers is that at least there is hope. When you deliver cane to Mumias Sugar Company, the payment has been eased at least after a week. You are paid, per ton is 4,550. And that for me is a very strong statement and also a message of hope. And one thing that we have agreed, which of course the new investor is also focusing on, is how we can address those, we call them DRs, the debits. Because in the previous investment, a farmer could deliver cane there, but instead of getting money, you are the one owed. You are the one who owes the company. So once those DRs have been expunged from their statements, then they can start from a zero level, and whatever they deliver, which I can bear witness and testimony, you're paid after 1 week.
And that is done. Okay.
Because I was actually paid after a week after delivering my sugarcane in December.
The infrastructure, the factory will be up and running as per your word, but then now sugarcane takes a long time for it to mature. To get to the factory. So what are you going to tell the farmers now? What are you going to do so that you can reactivate the whole process of farming now?
Of course, the investment in different varieties is crucial. Sometimes I can say nature can conspire for the benefit of the farmers. After Mumias collapsing almost 5 to 10 years ago, most of the farmers abandoned sugarcane farming. So technically, the soil has been resting. Let me put it that way. This is the time now when you start again planting cane, because of the high acidity level that was associated with poor yield. I'm sure this story different. When you talk to agriculturalists, they'll tell you when land has been fallow for 5 years, and then now you till it, the yield will be high. So my message to farmers is let them go back to sugarcane growing. The fortunes are positive. You will be paid once you deliver. And we also have now the cogeneration, things like molasses, things like now energy will become a reality, because that is also one of the other related investments within Mumias in the factory. Once we have the cogen working, energy will be produced, which will be sold to the national grid. We have the spirits, again will be produced. So all those subsidiary investments within Mumias, once they start operating, then we'll be talking about a different thing. That will now put Mumias back proper on the recovery path economically.
Okay. You have hope that Mumias once again will be up and running very soon.
It will be up and running. It will be up and running, but it can now be fast-tracked if there's a bailout of those historical obligations.
Bills. I know you're also grappling with the issue of pending bills from the previous administration. You chair one of the key and one of the backbone committees at the COG, and you've had several conversations with the national government, the treasury, the president. Where are we as a country, Governor?
Now, first and foremost, our position on pending bills is that they need to be verified, so that after the verification process, then you can now start budgeting for them. I'm lucky in Kakamega County, that was the first thing I did after being sworn in on the 15th of September. Those bills were audited, and we didn't have a lot of pending bills. We had almost 900 million.
900 million, okay. How much have you cleared so far?
So far, we've cleared almost 600 million.
That's good.
In pending bills. In fact, when you look at the report that we had by COB, we are doing very well on proactiveness of addressing the development expenditure and largely being the pending bills. But the global conversation around 47 counties is the pending bills must be verified before you now do the disbursement. I know the guidelines from the National Treasury is they need to have the first charge from the equitable share. But you see, when you rush because you want to comply with the national government or the National Treasury's guidelines, then the next thing will be an audit at your doorstep. So the verification process is crucial. And then after the verification process, then the payments kicks in. Because it's also very good for the payments to be done so that you can actually, I can say, stimulate economic activities within the county, because when there's no circulation of money, then the economic activities in the counties will be affected. But by and large, the bigger picture is about verification, and then after verification, we now give priority to those pending bills. But the most proactive approach on avoiding to have a lot of pending bills is now a commitment from the National Treasury on the disbursement of the equitable share. It needs to be timely, it needs to be predictable.
And this has to come from the national government. You've received so far?
So far, for example, in Kakamega County, we've received around 6 billion Kenya shillings. That is disbursements up to the month of November. We still have disbursements that are pending for December, January, and February.
And what's the talk all about? Escalate for the disbursement for the next batch?
Of course, we've proactively been engaging the National Treasury. Of course, they talk about competing initiatives. They tell you about the obligations under Article 203. That is the loan repayments and the principal repayments of our national debt, which for me, it is something that should not be overemphasized, because those loan books have been there since time immemorial. I think we just need a commitment from the National Treasury to support counties, especially with regard to disbursements, because that is the only way this bottom-up economic transformation agenda will be achieved. Activities needs to be at the grassroots, at the bottom of the pyramid, which are the counties. When we get that right, then the issue of disbursement will be a thing of the past. Of course, we've had a conversation with COB around that, and we're telling them your mandate stops at approving requisitions that have been sent by the counties in order to facilitate the release of money from the CRF, the county revenue funds, to the facilities account. So once that is done, then you can be sure the pending bills issue will be addressed. Our revenues from the equitable share will be timely and predictable. Then we'll have lesser and lesser amounts committed at the end of the financial year as pending. In fact, we'll only be having accruals as opposed to pending bills.
What is your government equitable share?
Our equitable share from the national government is 12 billion Kenya shillings. Of course, you also have conditional grants and our own source revenue, which at the moment amounts to now a total of 15 billion shillings.
Do you intend to use this money? Because at the end of the day, you need to serve your people very well, people of Kakamega, based on, again, your collection as a...
Of course, the activities we have in my 6-point agenda are program-based, right? Of course, we'll do a lot of investment into the health facilities. Healthcare is critical for me. Water is critical, Mliango is critical for me. Infrastructure is critical because you need to have proper infrastructure so that after you have done investment in agribusiness, then those products can be taken to the market. So infrastructure is critical. And of course, agriculture you can't overemphasize. Those for me are the key pillars. And what I'm trying to do for purpose of having equity in all the 60 wards. By the way, Kakamega is one of the largest, as I told you, with the 90 MCS, 60 elected and 30 nominated. We'll have amounts going to every ward of 20 million shillings to be implemented through what we call ward flagship projects. That will address development across the board equitably so that people can feel the power and the fruits of devolution. So those will be my key focus areas. But more importantly is now on enhancing on-source revenue, which we've done through automation. This automated
of revenue.
Exactly.
Yes.
With automation, we are targeting to collect not less than 3 billion Kenya shillings, because we have a potential of 5.8 billion. So all these efforts, when we consolidate them, I'm sure we are going to have a target of not less than 16 billion Kenya shillings,
that will be enough,
which will be able to finance our activities. And more importantly, on health, my cabinet has approved what we call Facilities Improvement Fund, whereby the amounts collected within the Ministry of Health will be plowed back in the same ministry to address the infrastructure, disbursements of and procurement of drugs and non-farms. And this will go a long way in addressing the health.
And I'm told that you're running out of time, but what is the legacy project right now as we speak?
As you speak right now,
yes.
My focus is on 3 areas. One is about food security, very crucial, because you cannot have a county that is hungry. Number 2 is Amazo Mulyango, which is water at the doorstep, because we need clean water, which is one of my key areas. And then, of course, healthcare is critical, because my predecessor was focusing largely on the infrastructure. I want to blend infrastructure and the software part of it, so that we don't just construct dispensaries, health centers, but equipping them is critical, so that now the provision of health services becomes a priority, as opposed to just having the infrastructure in place, but there are no medicines.
No medicine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Relationship with your deputy?
My relationship is very good. In fact, very many people are surprised the way we are working very closely together.
From the beginning, we here and there, some handshake kind of. Did it happen?
We didn't need to have a handshake because there was no issue. When you talk about a handshake, it means maybe there was an issue, but we didn't have an issue. I can say it was a creation of the media. It was hot air.
It was hot air?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But so far, so good?
So far, so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Governor, thank you so much for your time. We've done exactly enough time for the people of Kakamega to get to listen to their governor. We hope that at the end of the day, your key pillars, whatever you promise the people of Kakamega, you will achieve in a record time. And all we can just say is it's all up to you to get to business.
Very well.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thank you so much for hosting us.
Asante
sana. That is Honorable FCPA Governor Fernandez Baraza of Kakamega County. We've taken 1 hour talking about his legacy project, some of the hits and misses, and what we should be looking forward to in his administration in the next 5 years. Right about now, let's take a break, and we come back. We are going back to the broadcasting house for our normal programming. Right now, it's a wrap from Kakamega County. Bye for now. Good.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe. Ndela wema mkombozi.
Vulilela, yegelo mona. Vulilela,
umenyoka jafito, tunakula yenyu shushu. Tutawapiga mguri, sisi kuchi ukukusa.
Na je, ukitembea na vikundi ambavyo havikusaidii kimsingi, utakuwa unatimiza azma yako au utakuwa unatimiza ushenzi?
Vipindi vya televisheni siku hizi vina elimu ya kipekee katika wanafunzi wa vyuo. Kwanza tukianza na kituo cha KBC, kina kipindi cha sanaa ya Kiswahili.
Tunaamini kwa miaka 10 kuanzia sasa tutaweza kupata roboti ambazo zitaweza kufanya kazi kama binadamu na zaidi kama binadamu.
Ili kitukuzwe. Nadia. Sevens Music. Hali mbaya nyumbani mwenzangu, chakula hakuna na si hekaya. Kuna muda natamani kurudi kwetu. Umenioa unitese, eti kisa kupendwa sana. Imenizidi mipaka, marafiki wananicheka sana. Nimevumilia sana kama maji mwenzako.
Usiwape faida majirani, hata mimi natamani upendezo vinde mitani. Usinikimbie, ukiondoka mwenzako nitabaki na nani? Nihurumie, baada dhiki faraja yetu iko njiani. Vumilia tu, siwezi. Vumilia tu, siwezi. Nitembe vipi na magongo yangu wewe?
So lost is you, babe. Sweet love is some foreplay.
na jam juna ngoja maskani sana kwa hamu na gam kawesi beshte damu misi wezi kuita fam kuna maina kwa sherehe mshow anaitwa na mam juma sani ya heavy chungo masani ya dhambi asi what I can do na wababa wa vitambi kamkopo kalijipa basi leo si changi changi jumixia ni ya remi na pombe za kariobangi hangover kesho takuwakaya watu wawili mara moja itabidi nimemeza mara mbili lakini haidhuru bora vako tuziseti picha tunachoma sana tu kwa sababu ya happy recipe ya happy
recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe ya happy recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe maundala nenenga kila mundu kile anadai kubai itema ikio vivi hata maya ofrai kaketa wakajazi kunea musembi muya au kena twele tunaidi mama blade mkamba na mapose sako lily change na vefeka na maboss niki come around so unajua how it goes Mr. Bragg labdo nikuta kwa meno niki flows oh dakika mbili tumebonga 1 hour tumemake El Nino na ma champagne showers tiba ya kuchapa sini pesa ndiyo dawa siri ya kukaa fly sini pesa ndiyo mabawa oh recipe ya happy recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe ya happy recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe ya happy I like that I like that I like that maganji washikaji vinywaji
niko na engine true story why lie Nairobi mji wa free wifi Mkristo na meza divai mini happy G-Lider tuko na who's who yani nani tunasele madesign ikiingia magizani utanipata na boys wangu unaishi Kikuyu leo nalala Roy Sambu marashi tulishare ulimi major razor meza yangu ma3 I say beba Friday tuko na nameless na noons Remy nyake na supu ya bones
recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe ya happy recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe ya happy maganji washikaji vinywaji ndo recipe ya
Nike baby Until LeBron what you say
kama hujapenda hujapendwa kama hujaumizwa hujatendwa mapenzi so bidhaa dukani ukanunue anayetoa ndo anaipawa yeah. Penzi lako nile moto nobody can love me better I need your love penzi lako nile moto nobody can love me better I need your love ila so jamila tumeshiba
Morning Kenya, I'm Mike Itai, and we have so much lined up for you. To start off with, we have something kind of different. We have none other than Chel the Magician. Chel the Magician. Am I pronouncing it properly?
Chel the Magician.
In studio. Yeah. Na naona kuna vitu umetuandalia hapa.
Yeah, we have some things hapa. Wakoroga kidogo.
Usiseme hivyo. Utafanya nitoroke. Before we begin, let's start with your background in magic. Ni nini ilifanya uka fall in love with magic?
Nika fall in love. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Chel the Magician. By the way, I'm from Ukambani, Kitui, na nimesomea Tanzania. Alafu mimi ni mchawi, magician. So you can imagine your combination. So this, I have a hanky here. Many.
Ushaanza?
No, I'm just doing my intro. I have a hanky. Sidisa bro. Gitahi. I have a hanky. Many people normally ask what is magic, but magic is all about illusions.
Okay. I have to take off my glasses for this, okay?
Nione vizuri.
Ndio nione vizuri.
So yeah, done. So ulikuwa unauliza story na background sasa.
So Ukambani, Tanzania. Ni between your transition yote ni wapi ulipatana na magic?
Magic from Ukambani. Yeah.
Nani alikuintroduce?
My uncle. Yeah, actually magic ilijanga kati there is this uncle of mine. Nikiwa very small, ilikuwa 5 years ndo alinifanyia trick then ikanifool. Mimi kuangalia msespana kwa mentally challenged. So nikikuwa challenge napenda sana kupush mpaka nijue like nipitie challenge yangu na get like inakuanga kama obstacle kwangu a challenge. So after he did the trick ndio hapo nikaanza like kile kama sa investigation sasa nikakama across nikaanza ku learn new tricks, you get it. Yeah.
Now speaking of challenges, our country is it that accepting in terms of magic and magicians?
Yeah.
Ndio umesema unajua mtu akisikia magician anasikia mtu anaweza niroga.
Yeah, true maze. At first kwanza haikuwa inakuwa appreciated, that's what I can say in Kenya. Yeah, it had challenges wakati nilikuwa naanza. But as for now I can say inawaka poa. Mara kwanza nilikuwa napata zile hate comments mpaka nafunga comments zangu kwa my own social media. Una get. Yeah, but as for now Kenyans are very supportive. Thanks to them, at least they want to appreciate, but not in terms of politics, in terms of the people themselves, fans. Una get. Yeah.
Can't wait. Let's do some magic. Guys back at home? Don't blink.
Okay, so niko na ina nikikuja nimepita tu mali nikaichukua, just took it there.
Okay.
So I want you to open it, just confirm it's a normal nut. Okay. Yeah, open, close.
Yes it is.
Yeah, close. Funga kabisa. Yeah, mpaka hapo iko. Yeah, it's good there. It's good there. So nataka shike hivi sasa. Hivi kiangalia juu. The other way. Okay. Yeah, like that. I want to unajua me, the good thing about me, God gifted me with, I'm not only a magician, I'm a mentalist, a psychic and a hypnotist. So I'm a mentalist, I can control things using my mind, right? So nataka focus kwa hiyo on that nut. Unajua everything is possible in this world. It only takes you to believe so that something can happen.
Let me check something before you start.
Okay. So nataka I want you to focus on that nut. Just focus. Eka that mind that you can open it using your mind.
Okay.
Yeah, just focus. The more you focus, the more that energy is getting inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Kena kushinda, let me see. Umeshindwa bro.
Nimeshindwa.
So ni kuchukua tu, it's all about mind game. Unajua binadamu anakuanga kama ile electricity flani that you can pass from you to me. So hii ndi chuma. What happens kukiwa na maji alafu chuma alafu electricity alafu ingize mkono. Unapigwa short, right? So the same thing is happening here. So we are having earth here. You are the wewe ndio maji. Again I'm the person. Again this is the metal. So nataka unishike hapa. Just hold here. Let me pass that energy to this nut, okay? It's as simple as that.
Okay. So that's all. How did you do that?
Magicians never reveal their secrets.
Okay.
Try.
I try myself.
Yeah,
okay.
Try.
I'm going to try to do some magic here for you guys back at home.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is stare into it and focus.
Just focus there.
This is my focused face.
You have to focus. You know, you are not believing. That's the reason.
Nothing is happening.
Okay. Kama umeshindwa leta basi. So nataka to try kitu. I want to try. Unajua that's mentalism, okay? Let's try something else. Okay, niko na hii hapa. Acha nikupatie kazawadi. Hebu confirm kama iko sawa. Unajua lazima nikupatie jamani, uconfirm aseme mpaka sio umemove miwani.
Just in case there's some. Okay.
It's good, right? So nitaiweka hapa. Just like that.
Are you serious?
Hivyo tu ndio nimepata fare yangu.
We need these machines in Nyeri.
Itakuwa wash. Unaweza confirm, it's good. Kopoa. Unaweza kuwa na soma 50?
Inaweza kuwekea?
Aleta njeke. Unaweza kuwa na 50 ama so?
No.
You don't have any money?
No.
Yeah, mazi.
Everyone is digital these days.
Umepigwa na yenyewe uchumi. There is one of my friend alisema kwamba the only English word sahi anajua ni tax because everywhere you go is just tax. Okay, let's borrow. Unaweza kuwa na nini?
Anyone with the note in studio?
Yeah. Okay, then kujeni come. Unaweza pata wawili kwa stage.
Let's have a few volunteers for some more magic tricks.
Yeah.
Right over here.
Hello. Kwaje? Usishtuke jameni, ilikuwa tu kidogo. So come this side. What's your name? Philomena. Yeah. What's your name? Diana. So nime decide to me because when you do the tricks on you, the magic on you, they say that the stage probably, you know. Diana, right? Yeah. And Philomena. So nikaribieni tuacheni kuogopa. So Philomena, Diana, I want you to be nataka mko very sensitive, okay? So just be very sensitive in whatever happens. So just don't talk, okay? Like just follow instruction. Just be sensitive on anything that happens. It's so aware of the surrounding, anything that can happen. I've just keep it on your mind, okay? Bring your hand. I'm not doing something bad. Just okay. Nataka mfunge macho. Close your eyes. Yeah, just close your eyes. Usiogope. Okay, don't open your eyes at any time. Just close your eyes, okay? Close your eyes. If you felt a touch, raise your hand. Kama unafeel uliguswa ino mkono. Philomena, hujasikia ukiguswa? Huyu amelala jameni. Philomena, open your eyes. Hujasikia ukiguswa? Okay, that's why nikwambia ukue very sensitive. So ukifeel kama umeguswa kila anywhere, just raise your hands. Ni sawa? Okay, close your eyes. Philomena hapa ametense. Usiinue saweka mkono tu chini, just relax. If you felt a touch, raise. Oh, jamani. Don't raise your right hand, okay? Just your left hand. Sini sawa? Just try again. Until I ask. If you felt a touch, raise your hand. Regesha mkono chini. Yeah, that's amazing. Just follow instruction. Sijasema mfungue macho. Akiwa ndo change mapanya. Okay, close your eyes tena. Fungeni macho sasa. Fungeni macho. Just msishikane, funga macho. Nilikuwa natengeneza something like a connection. Funga macho. Okay. Kama una feel umeguswa, inua mkono. Regesha mkono chini. With your fingers na vidole zako tunaonyesha uliguswa mara ngapi? How many times are you touch? Yeah, just raise your hand, show us. Yeah, raise your hand, show us. That's amazing. Regesha mkono chini. Nionyeshe mahali uliguswa, the exact place. Uliguswa wapi? That's amazing. Kwa mabega. Open your eyes. Are you sure?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Bro.
I'm just here wondering what's going on. Wow.
Sikukushika, for real. Sikukushika, I didn't touch you. Just all the time was just here. Hawamini? Hawamini? What if ujione mwenyewe? Si sawa? What if ujione mwenyewe? Stand here. Stand there. Okay, stand here. Si sawa? Funga macho. Just close your eyes. Be very sensitive on anything. Kama una feel umeguswa, inua mkono. Regesha mkono chini. Show me the exact place yenye uliguswa. Uliguswa wapi? Open your eyes. Are you sure? Mashiko hapa. How was it feeling? Was it feeling like something?
Unaweza kaa pale kwanza.
Ngoja tu. Ilikuwa ina feel aje kitu kama tickling. Something like this. Oh, that's amazing. I do believe.
Wow.
Okay. But then nimekuambia ma mentalist ndio? So nataka tufanye those thing about mentalism. So niko na shika hii. Philomena na nini nitawaita tena. Tutawaita tena.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shika. Confirm kai iko sawa?
Yes, it is indeed
which color?
What should I call it? TP?
It's a TP.
It's white.
I'm finding
in color.
Yeah.
Velvety soft.
So that's color white, right? What does white symbolize?
Purity, peace.
Peace, right? Ukiona kitu kama ukiona fire, guns, war, right? But that is white. So umesema white ina symbolize peace. Okay. So nataka utanifanyia tu a favor. Tani mwagia hapa kidogo. Like that. Take this. Light it for me. Bring. Nataka unilightie. Unajua I'm a mentalist. When nikikuangalia kwa macho I can see something else. Apart from this white. Unajua I just want to make that nikiangalia kwa macho I can see peace and love. Sijui what symbolizes peace and love. So just yeah. That's what I can see in your eyes. Light it for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, paja PJ, paja. Po abracadabra. Nimekwambia peace and love. That symbolizes peace and love.
Okay. Imetoka wapi kwa tissue?
Magicians never reveal their secrets. I don't know. The fire turned to a dove, and that's you.
This is me.
Yeah, that's you.
In dove form.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Asi nimekutengenezea kitu at least nafanana na wewe. Acha tumweke apumzike kidogo. So nataka tufanye another mentalism thing, okay? Okay, all the people in the building, unaweza kuja tena kwa stage. Can I request you please?
Before they come, I have to ask. Can the dove turn back into?
Yeah, it can turn back to fire. Like after just a couple of hours, it will turn back to fire.
Okay, we're going to wait for that.
Yeah.
Philomena, please join us.
Okay. So, Philomena, okay, nyinyi mkiwa tatu, you three, I want you to think of, nataka mfikirie of numbers, okay. Think of 3 numbers, okay? From 1 to 1,000. Isikuwe like, but isikuwe numbers nafanana like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 5, 5, okay? Just think of 3 numbers, 3 random numbers. It can be 238, 458, unaget, but then zinakuwa different. So unaget, kama ni 782, just something like that. Just think of 3 numbers. Are you good? Mefikiria? Okay, come. Let's start with you. So nataka uniandike your numbers hapa juu. Just nataka tuone peke yako hapa. No, andika kitu kubwa, at least something visible. Okay, the next person, come, Rudy. Read for me here. Read for me hapa chini. Okay, the last person, come. Oh, that's amazing. So it was a free choice. I did not force any of you to choose any number. Sindio, it was a free choice. Okay, make guitar come again. Nataka na I know you are poor ni uko poa sana in addition. Ama should let me use her. Just come. Let me use you. So, Shika, I want you to add for me the numbers. Add for me the numbers. I'll just add. Staki hata waone. It's just you waseme we had planned something.
So is this still part of mentalism or?
Yeah, let's just see something. Yeah.
Okay.
Add for me.
So what's the difference as she continues adding between regular magic and mentalism? And let's say hypnosis.
Confirm again. Just confirm hesabu yako. So magic there are like tricks, there are like illusions. You know, when I came to Nairobi, nilipatanga kuna other magicians, you get it. So I decided that kulikuwa na competition. So I decided let me be unique. Apart from doing the magics, let me be a mentalist, let me be a fortune teller, let me do hypnosis, you get it. And that's how unajua ukiingia kwa market kuna competition lazima pia wewe you try to outcome, you try to be unique. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a free choice, right? Umeshafanya total, si ndio? So shika. Stai kuona hiyo total yako. Niandikie total hapo. Write for me the total. Don't show me. Umeiona? Unajua, si ndio? Write the total for me. Stai ukiona. I don't have to interact with the nini. Kwa sawa. Don't show me. Funga karatasi. So I just want to nini. We have it was a free choice. Sikukuambia that number you'll choose. I didn't tell you the number to choose, right? I didn't tell you the number to choose. Did I? No, it was a free choice. Sindio? So go back there. Nataka utuambie the total. Umepata ngapi? 1180. Wow, shit. It's like this magic has failed.
1180.
As for me, I had predicted 1350.
1350. Did you get 1350?
It's 1180. Yeah. Oh, I remember something. In the morning when I was coming here, kuna mtoi wangu.
Let's come closer.
Yeah, it's okay. Kuna mtoi my brother alikuwa anacheza na vest yangu. See? So utaniallow tu nitoe hii.
We have to come closer to get a look.
Utaniallow nitoe nguo. Dog. Kuna mtoi alikuwa anacheza na vest yangu. So I don't know. Taregesha.
Usiniambie umeandika mwa. Are you sure when you calculated that's the number?
Yeah.
1180.
How did you do that?
Can you bring the paper? 1180.
Okay.
That's it.
How did you do that?
So a mentalist at that moment you wake up, you can predict the future, you can predict games. Just now, I was live on TikTok nilisemanga Manu watapiga. Watapigwa.
Let me help you with this.
Yeah, it's okay. So you're saying?
As we continue to just be umeshtuka. I'm in shock. As we continue to be in shock here in studio, we'll be back after this short break as we try to calculate what just happened. 1180. We'll be back after this. How did you do that?
Operationalizing Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
The percentage of AIDS in 2021
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
Father, you took a holy oath.
But I have doubts sometimes. Right now, when I see you, what I feel is...
Stop right there.
Olegario, to whom did you send flowers to? Don't tell me you sent flowers to that other woman you had dinner with. Olegario, answer me. Did you send flowers to Martha Moreno?
Well, what can we do, Ruben? We're far away from everything.
Well, we are not that far from the restaurant where we had lunch, and I'm guessing we're not that far from anything.
All right, but then... Please don't take too long.
I need them to come and find us immediately. I can't. Alonso, please, I won't let you die, my love.
Oh, no, please don't touch me. No,
What
don't.
we have here? She's all alone.
No.
Take it easy. Since we've been treating you very nice.
No, please don't.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. I'm Mike Itai, and before the break tulikuwa hapa na Chel the Magician na bado wako hapa anaendelea kutushtua. Chel,
yeah.
Let's continue.
Okay, so naona kuna msichana mwingine acha akuje kwa set pia. Tusiambie tunapanga vitu huyu. Nani? Diana. Bedha, unajua kuna kitu tulikuwa tunaongelea. Nimekwambia I'm from Kitui County.
Okay.
Kuna this incident ili happening Kitui County. Chiko unakumbuka? Ili happen ni Ukambani mwingi. Kuna mwewe ilichukuanga nyoka. Ikachukua nyoka ikamweka kwa Nissan. After ilimweka kwa Nissan, nyoka ikauma mtu, then mwewe ikakujia nyoka wake. Unakumbuka hiyo story? Unakumbuka? That story? Ukambani, sivyo? But that is a story for another day. Ni story tu ilikuwa naelezea. So the story yani ilikuwa tu story tu ya nyoka huko Ukambani, si hapa. Okay. Ni huko. So again, so ilikuwa just a story. Niko na hizi vitambara, shika. Hizo ni ngapi? 1, 2, 3, right? I have my magic bag hapa. Yeah. Okay, so naona kuna kitu. Na check it's empty, right? So niweke moja moja. 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, paja, PJ, paja. Hebu nitolee moja moja, usinikasirishe tafadhali. Nitolee moja moja. Kai. Nimekwambia utoe moja moja. Ai, mimi sawa ameanza kuniudhi. Unajua mimi bado ukiniudhi hata mimi nitakuudhi. Si nimekwambia utoe moja moja. Hebu kama wewe kuja.
Okay.
Wewe kuja. Wewe kuja hapa. Kuja hapa.
Let's go close.
Shika, take this. Niweke hapa ndani. Niweke hapa ndani. So nataka wewe ufunge macho. Close your eyes. Si sawa? Umekumbuka story nimekuambia jameni Ukambani huko? Ni story tu. Just close your eyes. Nataka unitolee hizo vitambara. Yeah, let me help you.
Nini niko hapa?
Jamani nini?
Wewe ngoja.
Hizi ni vitambara unanitolea.
Usikia nyoka.
Ngoja, kuna nini hapo ndani?
Si ni vitambara ndo hizi. Okay. Shika, acha, wewe shika uniregeshe. Shika uniregeshe. Sasa ukienda, hebu shika.
No, let's go closer. Go closer.
Hebu close your eyes. Funga macho. Wewe funga macho ndio uta nini. Bedha nilisikianga ukifunga macho kuna vitu haziwezi kuumiza. Ukipatana na simba ukifunga macho ikuumize. Okay, nitolee. Jameni. Si uingize mkono utoe vitambara. Unajua show inaisha hapa. Mutahi. Acha nikusaidie basi pole pole. 1, 2, 3. Acha atinyoka. Acha basi ni. Kuja. Si kuja hapa.
First, before you continue, let me say, among my top 3 phobias, my friend.
Okay.
So how does that happen? Vitamba zinatanaji zinakuwa nyoka.
Magicians never reveal their secrets.
Chel, thank you so much for thank you guys.
Kuna watu wameniambia nataka niwapige shout out jamini.
Sasa. Tutapiga tu shout out saa hizi. But before tumalize, let me just ask, watu wanaweza kupata wapi on social media?
My platform ni my name, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Chel the Magician. CHELL ile ya Chelsea lakini unaongeza L moja. Chel the Magician. Yeah, kila mahali ni Chel the Magician. Ukiona kama jina kidogo imekulemea, just andika Kenya's best magician. Nakuanga hapo number 1.
Okay, shout out come through.
Okay, so me I want to greet my producer PRB Films, nisalimie Magika Small hapo. I greet wanafunzi wote wa Zitec, nisalimie mheshimiwa wangu na Robosa Mnyivya. Again, naweza waalika show, nitakuwa na show Easter, the Easter show. Nitakuwa na show the Captain Otoyo show.
Yes.
Yeah, itakuwa hapa KNT, Kenya National Theatre Easter show. Again, tarehe 8, if you want to see me live, kuja hapo tuona mambo tunafanya. Tarehe 8 na tarehe 9 tuko pale Mombasa showground. Hapo sasa itakuwa tunawakoroga sasa. Nabadilisha watu kuwa mapanya. Yeah.
I can't wait to see that. Thank you so much for coming through to do some magic here in studio. I'm amazed.
Thank you.
I loved all your tricks, but hiyo mwisho hiyo kidogo kuna mali imenigusa mali. Malify. I have a phobia for those things, but anyway. Thank you so much for tuning in. Chel the Magician on all social media platforms. Vlomeskia, a lot is in store. We'll be back after this.
Be on site. See my shoulder, make you rest upon me. You know I got you, let me be your friend indeed. I'm money don't show now. I don't keep some for you. You know go suffer, 'cause anything I get now for me and you, yeah. How are you, my friend? I see you, my brother. How do you do, my friend? See my sister. Know sometimes you feel like say nobody sent you. That's when I did for you, my friend. So long. How are you, my friend? How do you do, my friend? I know sometimes you feel like say nobody sent you. That's when I did for you, my friend. I know sometimes you feel like say nobody sent you. That's when I did for you, my friend. I know that I don't call enough, but you're always on my mind. Oh, I did for you, my friend. I know that I don't text enough, but you're always on my mind. Masabu, Kenyan boy. I look at music, yeah. Nionyeshe unokata, leo kupiga sherehe, together mimi na wewe, kama maji tutakata, tujivinjari bebe, raha tujipa wenyewe. Napendo la kupinda, pinda mgongo, unanimaliza sheri.
That is how to start your morning, and no other place. Ni hapa tu, KBC Channel 1. Good morning, Kenya. Entertainment Thursday. In studio, I have none other than Mr. William. Yes. Asante sana for those smooth vibrations.
Yes.
And of course, umejoinwa na
Albert.
Yes. Welcome to studio.
Thank you.
Na naona hii setup yote, there's something I hope my director will allow. This is also another saxophone, but what are the kuona this type?
Yes.
It's the soprano sax?
The soprano sax.
And the one you're holding is the?
This is a tenor sax.
The tenor sax.
Yes.
How did you get into the saxophone game?
I think it's a roller coaster of what happened, but what I can say, the person who actually identified my music talent was my late dad. Actually passed on last year. So what happened is when I was 7 years old, those times when we used to see Joy Bringers in KBC.
Oh,
yeah.
You're taking me way back.
Yeah, so I used to watch a lot of Joy Bringers those times. So that's the time now I had that talent to in music. Anything musical, I was always there. So on my 7th birthday, he bought me a keyboard. So that's when now my music journey started. And then, but of course, what I really appreciate about him before he passed on is he invested so much education on me. It exploded more when I went to secondary school in Book Academy, when now I did music as a more of a career plus a subject. So that's when now I picked my saxophone when I was in Form 2. That is it 2007? I don't remember. But that's when I picked the saxophone, then I picked the violin, I played a bit of keyboard, trumpet. Yeah, that's now when my journey started in music.
How easy or how hard is it to learn the saxophone? Because looking at it, as in, it's quite something. It's beautiful,
yes.
But it looks so complicated.
It's not. The beauty about it is once you have a good foundation of theory, music theory, it's easy now to even play any instrument. Any instrument, it's very easy because I didn't have a music teacher. I learned through YouTube. So, but now what made me now be able to accelerate the process of learning is because I had a music foundation in secondary school when we were doing music theory. That's when it's easier that way. Once you learn the theory, it's easier to play any instrument, by the way. There's no hard or simple instrument. It's about your dedication, just doing the practice, and the passion, of course.
Okay, I can imagine playing within this setting or having the saxophone accompany your music.
Yeah.
Must, come with a sense of pride, because I love jazz. I love jazz. How do you feel about jazz music and saxophone in general?
It's a huge compliment to join the two. There's a vibrance it gives it.
How did you guys meet?
Actually, he's not a Kenyan. He's from Uganda.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
How do you say hi in Uganda? Ugandan?
I would say in Luganda it would be Oliotia. Oliotia.
Oriotia?
Yes.
Everyone back at Oriotia. And Uganda, if you're watching us from YouTube Live?
Yes. So the other person replies Jendi. To mean that Niko poa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. So, right now I want to hear some more of the saxophone, some more of the good music. What do you have in store for us today?
Today I'm just my kind of chilled kind of music.
We're vibing to it?
Yes.
When will you attach this soprano? Because you know why I love this one? I have to confess, Kenny G.
Yes.
He always plays the soprano sax.
Yes.
So I love the soprano sax. I like tenor as well, but tenor inaongeza ka spice.
Yes.
It adds the spice to the track more than this one.
Yes, sure. Yeah, actually that's why I love.
Which one do you prefer?
All these two instruments have different personalities. So it's like my two children. Yeah. So it depends first of all on the kind of song I want and the sound that I want to get out of that song. So you can find that there are some songs I prefer playing on the soprano, and there are some songs I'll prefer playing on the tenor, depending on also the mood of that song. Yeah, but I play both of them. I don't have a favorite per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough said, enough said. William is here to play the saxophone for us here on Good Morning Kenya.
Okay.
Take it away.
Tausi.
Simply amazing, amazing, amazing vibes here on Good Morning Kenya. If you just missed it, if you're just joining us, make sure you watch the repeat on YouTube. That's at KBC Channel 1 TV. TV shows, that's on YouTube. And of course, KBC Channel 1, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. William.
Yes.
Asante sana for the vibes.
Thank you so much.
Watu wanaweza kupata wapi and what's in store in terms of your music?
You can find me in all social medias as Willie Sax Music. And currently I'm working on my second album that talks just about my journey, both professionally, musically, but I'm now want to express it through my music, which will be out maybe by December. I'm now in the process of now doing the album. Yeah. Awesome.
Yes, I'm Albert. You can find me on Instagram as Albert_music, even on YouTube, still the same. And yeah, I'm happy.
What's
to
in
be
store
here.
for you, Albert?
I work on quite a bunch of things. Right now, I'm not doing anything, but I'm producing for some other client. So yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Yes.
Can't wait for the album, Mr. William, Mr. Albert. Thank you so much for coming through. And before you leave, of course, you have to give us another number.
All right.
If you may.
Okay. Maybe I can use that one.
Which one? Oh, this one.
Ooh, the soprano. Awesome.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe. Ndela wema mkombozi
Ulilela umenyoka jafito, tunakula yenyu shushu, tutawapiga mguri, sisi kuchi ukukusa.
Na je, ukitembea na vikundi ambavyo havikusaidii kimsingi, utakuwa unatimiza azma yako au utakuwa unatimiza ushenzi?
Vipindi vya televisheni siku hizi vina elimu ya kipekee katika wanafunzi wa vyuo. Kwanza tukianza na kituo cha KBC, kina kipindi cha sanaa ya Kiswahili.
Tunaamini kwa miaka 10 kuanzia sasa tutaweza kupata roboti ambazo zitaweza kufanya kazi kama binadamu na zaidi kama binadamu.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaign
and rewarded.
Operationalizing Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
The percentage of A's in 2021 were more than those ones in 2022.
We will not politicize security, because if we do so, we endanger the country.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
So kama ya before, unaweza keza kila kitu hicho nacho mwisho ukatoka zero. Sina muda wa kuzuga, sema ukweli wako, maana maji yamezidi unga, yamenifika kwako. Somebody tell me how to please a woman. Somebody show me how to please a woman. I don't go on my way just to please a woman. Spend all my money just to please her. Yeah, yendo kisa niko club, kila siku ni masela na ulabu. Nyumbani hapa kani kitabu, kesi mashitaka ninasomewa vitabu. Nena, basi nena, yapata laka yako, rudi kwa mama yako. Nena, basi nena, yapata laka yako, rudi kwa mama yako. Terminator, oh Terminator, contract Terminator, Terminator, oh Terminator, Terminator, contract Terminator, Terminator. Una complicate kama isha simple, utani wana stress na makasi wiko. Una complicate kama isha simple, utani wana stress na makasi wiko. Somebody tell me how to please a woman. Somebody show me how to please a woman. I don't go on my way just to please a woman. Spend all my money just to please her. Yeah, yendo kisa niko club, kila siku ni masela na ulabu. Nyumbani hapa kani kitabu, kesi mashitaka ninasomewa vitabu. Nena, basi nena, yapata laka yako, rudi kwa mama yako. Nena, basi nena, yapata laka yako, rudi kwa mama yako. Terminator, oh Terminator, contract Terminator, Terminator. nakujua Iane
Alexis on the beat.
Weka mziki, leo nataka kucheza. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa party, tunataka kucheza. Shida ni mingi, leo nataka kucheza. You know, we just wanna party and enjoy. Leo lazima nyama kwa wingi, ugali kidogo, pombe kwa wingi, chesa kidogo, mapenzi kwa wingi, chuki kidogo, situzitoke mdogo. Before the sun fades on us, tujibambe pamoja. Before the sun fades on us, tulewe pombe pamoja. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah.
Every day we do it for the fun them. Sexy ladies in the party, man about money and you know it's an anthem. Give thanks to the Most High. Every day a blessing you see and we multiply. Bigger picture now your good side. A bigger picture now your good side. Jaba kwa wingi ngoi kidogo, usiogope choma photo. Pigia Cindy, pigia Jojo, na tunarudi soko. 'Cause I know you sacrifice. Tujibambe pamoja. I know you sacrifice. Situchome kimoja.
It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare.
Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Kupata maisha kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza *811 *816#.
Maisha ni mafupi, hivyo si vyema kumaliza muda mwingi katika malumbano. Hesabu baraka zako, wathamini rafiki zako na tabasamu ili udumishe amani.
Kupata maisha, bonyeza *811 *816#. *811 *816#.
Don't say that, Father. You took a holy oath.
But I have doubts sometimes. Right now, when I see you, what I feel is...
Stop right there.
Olegario, to whom did you send flowers to? Don't tell me you sent flowers to that other woman you had dinner with. Olegario, answer me. Did you send flowers to Martha Moreno?
Well, what can we do, Ruben? We're far away from everything.
Well, we are not that far from the restaurant where we had lunch, and I'm guessing we're not that far from anything.
All right, but then... Please don't take too long.
I need them to come and find us immediately. I can't. Alonso, please, I won't let you die, my love.
Please don't touch me. No,
What do
don't.
we have here? He's all alone. Take it easy. Since we'll be treating you very nice.
No, please don't.
Manyanyaso kuonewa ni kama baraka, yanapita tu kwa muda kabla ya jua kuchomoza. Maisha yako kwenye ndoa, hata kazini kuonewa, yanapita tu kwa muda, yatapita tu kwa muda. Cause when they close that door, another one opens, and it only gets better, and it only gets better. Ni Mungu anaweza kupanga maisha yako. Unapotenda mema na wema ni sehemu ya maisha yako. Asante. Wewe ni mwaminifu, wewe furaha yangu, wewe amani
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. It's a vibe every Thursday hapa. It's Entertainment Thursday, and of course I'm Mike Itai. If you're just tuning in, the repeat iko hapo on YouTube, that's KBC Channel 1 TV shows, and of course on all social media platforms it's KBC Channel 1 TV. Previously tulikuwa tunacheza wimbo ya Sasha Kenya featuring Rose Mohando, Asante, and of course that was another new one by Sasha Kenya. She's here in studio with us. Karibu.
Asante.
Banger after banger, we call them bangers.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much for the good music.
You're welcome.
Let's talk a bit about Sasha and, you coming up. First and foremost, it's my understanding you grew up in Kibera.
I did. Yes.
Let's talk about coming up.
Yeah.
From Kibera all the way to America and now back to Nairobi.
Yeah.
And, it's quite a journey.
It is. It's quite a journey, and, all glory goes to God. He's the one who plans our lives and everything that we're coming to do, but also we have to play a role in it, whereby you have to pray, listen to his voice, and take those steps. It takes courage. It takes you listening to that still small voice for you to be able to actually get up and take that step. Yeah. So yes, I was born in Kibera. I grew up in Kibera. I went to Langata Road Primary School, Ikwapo Wilson Airport area. Yeah, then I went to Chamakanga Girls in Kakamega Western for high school. Then I went to Kenya School of Professional Studies, where I did a higher diploma in information technology. And I was thinking of furthering to getting a degree, but then I had applied to the US and I was accepted for both school and work.
And that's something quite magical that happened, because when you applied, because you wanted to continue in Kenya,
yeah,
but something told you to apply in America for both work and study.
Right.
And, it just happened that
I was accepted for both, yes.
Wow, how did that feel?
It felt amazing. And
did you ever picture yourself, even boarding a flight to America, growing up in Kibera?
I had not. I had not. It was something that's why I just attribute it all to God. Because if someone was to pick people who would get this, I don't think I would be on that list. But I was on God's list. Yeah.
Wow. And so many things happened, even during that transition when you were in America.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable talking about it? Because it's part of your testimony.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like my marriage and all that?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I went to America. I stayed a couple of years, and then I was dating someone back here who we went to Sunday school together, and we felt like it was time for us to, come together as a union and get married, and then progress, start a family, and maybe get kids and invest and all that. So I came back and we got married, and I filed for his green card, and he came and joined me in the US. But as soon as he got there, I just realized something was off, and it just didn't work out. He was ready to move on, so he did move on.
But what's interesting with that story is, I've heard you say this testimony a few times before.
Yeah.
Within that 2-year period, because it was supposed to take 6 months, but then there was a 2-year period when you were trying to get his papers.
Yes, it took
But it
way
was like
too
there was
long.
always a roadblock.
Yeah, it's like God was telling me to let go. God was telling me something, but I was so adamant. I wanted this, and I remember so many nights I used to go and bow down and pray and actually kneel down to God and say, God, please help me, because I felt like this was the right thing to do. I felt like it was right for him to join me so we can at least progress with life, because it felt like it was stagnant. It felt like my life wasn't moving. But all this while, God was showing me signs, but I wasn't paying attention to it. So that has taught me a really big lesson. Like nowadays, I don't force anything. I say, may the will of God be done. That is what I should have done that day, but I didn't do it. I just wanted my will to be done. I wanted what I wanted, and God being my Father, who loves me so much, He gave me. And it wasn't, I wasn't praying for the right thing.
But that's an interesting thing to look at, even from a faith-based perspective, no matter your religion. Like, you might want something and you feel like, this is what I'm supposed to be praying for because it's something I want.
Yeah.
But as someone who's been through such a phase where you have to recognize that a greater voice than your own.
Right.
What advice would you give people who are watching you right now?
Well, if you're praying about something, if you want to achieve a goal, if you want to get somewhere, if you're praying for a job, put God first and ask God, what should I do? Always just turn to God and pray and ask God to guide you, and just ask that his will be done, because God's will is for us all to be happy, to be healthy, to be wealthy, to be happy and to be okay. That is his will for us. So I feel like sometimes we forget that God is there to take care of us, and we want to do our own and exercise our power and strength, and God lets us do it, and most of the times that's when we fail. I've learned that when I leave everything in God's hands and I tell him to take charge, he's taken charge, and I've seen him, like the Bible says, I've seen him face to face, and my life is changed. Yeah.
And now let's talk about the music.
Right.
The inspiration to join the music industry ilikam kuanzia wapi, na ni nini ilikuinspire ukasema, let me put my voice, let me say my testimony through music?
Right. I've had a desire deep inside me to do something for God. But way before, my life has been very busy. I've been doing this, helping, supporting my family, doing 1, 2, 3 things, and I felt like I wasn't ready to just come up and do this. But this time, I just felt that calling, God telling me to go out there and just preach his word through my music and tell the world what he has done for me and what he is capable of doing for anybody else out there. God is our Father, he is our mother. We can all turn to God at any time. So that's the inspiration I got to just come out here, because God has done so much in my life. God has healed me. He's protected me from so much. Things that I know and those that I don't know of. So this is my way of gratitude to him. Yeah.
And now I have to ask you about this collab with Rose.
Yeah.
How did it feel? Because she's, one of the bigwigs in East African music.
Yeah.
How did it feel to be, sharing the same platform, the same music video, the same song?
It feels amazing, and it is God's grace. I never imagined that I will be able to do a collab with Rose, but I think through God's grace. I remember there's a time just recently I was with a friend and he was asking me, so tell me, what other artists would you like to do collab with? And at the top of the list, it was Rose Muhando. So in a couple of weeks down the line, I met Rose Muhando and we were able to do that. So it's just that heart desire that you put out there, and God makes sure that you get it.
It's just an amazing song. I love the vibe of the song, and I love the message, most importantly, of the song, Asante. Can we talk about the lyrics of the song, the inspiration behind Asante?
Asante is, just saying thank you to God for his goodness, for his mercy. Like, he's given us free air, we can breathe, we don't pay for it. We have so much to be grateful for. We have family, we have good health, we have good food, we have water, clean water to drink. There's so much for us to be grateful for. But most importantly, this was inspired by a healing that I got. And I'm so grateful to God for this healing that I just want to sing his praise and praise him and sing his glory. Yeah.
But there's so much, not just music. You're an author.
Yeah.
There's a book coming up.
There's a book coming up. Yeah.
Let's talk about
it in a while.
Before we go to because you're an entrepreneur as well.
I am.
Let's talk about the book first.
Yeah.
What is the book about?
It's about my life, my story. It's about who I am and who I've become, and my journey. Yes.
When can we get the book?
Right now, I'm not so sure. I'm still working on it, but it's coming. It takes a lot. And I have a lot of other things to do.
I can imagine, and
Yeah.
I love how open you are with your story and your testimony. And I know someone who is going to read it and feel touched.
Yeah.
You know, maybe even change for the better.
Yeah, that's the intent.
There's a quote I love. You know, you don't have enough time to learn everything, so learn from the mistakes of others.
Right, we do actually, yes.
So thank you for the book and, you know, also giving us your story. That aside, you're also an entrepreneur. There's Jipende Cream.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. You know, you're all the way from Kibera to America, then all of a sudden you're like, let me start this.
Yeah.
The courage kuanzisha hiyo biashara ulitoa wapi?
I don't know, it's God. Let me just say it's God. Kwa sababu, I have a baby. I'm a mama. So I have a little girl, and I need something, a good cream for her skin, to take care of her. And I'm going out there shopping, and I don't want chemicals. I don't want, things that I'm not sure of to use on my baby. So I'm like, what am I going to use for my baby? And this idea comes in, and I remember my grandmother using shea butter on us when we were young. So I Googled and I found some shea butter. So I ordered some shea butter, and I started using this shea butter on my baby. And then I needed something more to add to it, so because shea butter is a little hard, so I needed to add something to it to make it even more softer and better. Then I got an idea of having a coconut oil. So I brought the coconut oil, mixed it with shea butter. It was a little better, but it still wasn't there. So I got the idea of getting the lanolin. Lanolin is really good for the skin and diaper rash. So I added that to the ingredients. So I started making this, and then I added some. Now it was during the summer and it was very hot, and I was taking baby to the beach, and the cream melted. So the cream melted. It was supposed to be solid, but because the temperatures are too high, it melted. So I had to find something to toughen it a little bit, to make it more solid. That's when I introduced the beeswax to it, which it makes it a little more solid, and even if the weather is the temperatures are too high, it will remain in its consistency. So, and then I put in some fragrance to make baby smell good. So that's how I came up with the cream, and I feel like it's a really good cream that all kids in the world should have it.
Let me tell you, by the way, we have to talk because I have toddlers at home and they need that cream ASAP.
Absolutely.
But before we continue, there's another song that we want to play by Sasha Kenya.
Oh.
Hallelujah. Nitende muujiza Bwana. Jesus. Maadui wanyamaze Bwana. Just like so. Do what you need, Lord. Hallelujah. I need Lord. One miracle. I need Lord. I need Lord. One miracle. One miracle. One miracle. To silence my enemies. I need Lord. I need Lord. One miracle. Just one miracle, dear Lord. I need Lord. That's all I'm asking from you, dear Lord. One miracle. Oh, thank you, Jesus. One miracle. Hallelujah. To silence my enemies. Mimi nataka. Nataka Yesu. Muujiza moja. Nisaidie Yesu. Nataka. Nitoe kwa aibu Bwana. Muujiza moja. Nitoe mbele ya maadui Bwana. Muujiza moja. Nitoe kwa vinywa za watu. Unyamazishe maadui. I need a touchable miracle.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful song. The tone is worship.
It is.
I can feel an essence of worship with your songs. What's next for Sasha in terms of music
In
now?
terms of music, yeah, I have a few singles coming. I have like 2 singles coming. I have praise and worship. Yeah.
Now, when are they coming?
I'm still working on it. Ziko Jikoni.
Any more great collabos, by the way?
Still praying about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through to Good Morning Kenya. We appreciate you. We wish you nothing but the best. And thank you so much for opening up and telling us your story and your testimony.
Yeah, because I share my story so that people will know that God is there and God can take you from grace to grace. Can heal you. He can provide for you. He can give you your heart's desire. Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful message. Sasha Kenya on all social media platforms. Watch out for the book, new music coming in. And of course, make sure you Google Jipende Cream.
Jipende Cream, yes.
And I need a sample.
Sure, you get it.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Good Morning Kenya. This was Entertainment Thursday. Until next week, I'm Mike Gitai. Cheers.
When Job received his miracle, he received a double portion. No enemy could withstand the miracle. All enemies were silent. The last